What we do, Linda, our one of our key instructors, has developed, and then over the course of the project, which has been going on for 6 years now, refined a template for an asset management action plan. We have that plan available in many different languages, and we try to sort of customize it to the country and where things are. But at the very beginning, they have to decide on what asset they want to focus on during the time of the workshop. So imagine a 5-day workshop. Linda has given an introduction to asset management for the first day and a half or so with some interactive exercises. Now they sit down, and they, being 4 or 5 officials at the city, typically the procurement officer, one of their engineers, finance officer, town clerk, it varies a little bit, but it's a sort of a multidisciplinary city group. And they now sit down and say, okay, let's focus on water, roads, or whatnot. So they spend an hour discussing that, right? Why is right now it is more important to focus on roads or water? And every city varies. Once they've done that, they walk through this template, and the template starts at a high level. And the first thing they really should look at is, what are your key principles for asset management that you would like to, if you could frame them and put them, in front of the town hall entrance, what would they be? We will not let our assets deteriorate, things like that. So we give them kind of a menu to choose from, or come up with their own principles. And then they go through detailed analysis, like, what are your performance goals for this particular asset? What are the stakeholders involved? Which stakeholders are super interested, which are super impacted by it, which are both, right? Now look at what kind of actions you need to take to actually move to that performance goal. How do you fund those actions? Who is involved in its implementation? And then at the very end, you have a time-bound action plan where you actually say, okay, we're going to have twice yearly inspections now instead of just once. We do it then and then. We will start an awareness-raising program around recycling, for example. We will have our first community engagement meeting on that date. So the action plan is really focused on low-cost solutions and activities that spur organizational change. And one of the biggest challenges we had, and we mentioned that before, is to make sure that they don't confuse an asset management action plan with a project plan. We often encounter this problem where they then say, okay, we have an action plan, we will buy 5 new vehicles, we will buy this, we will buy that, and then the question becomes, okay, who will fund that? And those cities in very poor countries often don't have the ability to do that. So we tell them, look, this can come in 3-4 years, but what we're focusing on right now are existing assets. Or what sometimes happens is, they know they will get a new asset, they will get new vehicles, they will build a new road. Let's put in place a plan, a multi-year plan, to manage that asset sustainably. You will get it, you need a plan. So let's work on that. So that also happens.